normal support, but it's that time of year again, and we will be sending the notice of assessments out on the 17th of this month. So that's next Tuesday. They'll be in the mail then. We have, of course, the appeal period is 45 days, and July 1st will be the final day for appeal. Not been fun. I can tell you that. We've had a lot of sales, a lot of deed transactions. Had pretty close to 4,000 deed transactions this year. And so far, we're on track for this next year to be about the same. It's not stopping. It's not easing up. The values, of course, they keep going up. The sales are ridiculous. I can give you, there's places where a couple of years ago we had a house that sold for $200,000. Last year it sold for $300,000. This year it sold for $400,000. So that sort of thing is common, and so we're having to constantly chase those numbers to keep those values up where they're supposed to be according to state law. So there's going to be a difference, definitely a difference in the values this year. The commission board last year, of course, did the right thing and lowered their millage rate to accommodate that, and I commend them for doing that. That was a good move. But of course, you've got the Board of Education that they need to do the same thing and kind of relieve that a little bit. So, but we had no choice because our ratio studies were telling us to do that, and ratio studies, they're pretty complicated, but basically it's just, the sale against the value that we have. The higher the sale, the lower the ratio study will be, because that's how it's set up based off that 40%. But one thing that we have been doing, we've got some analysis group that's helping us through this. We set our new values earlier in the year. We got our ratio up to 40 where it should be at. But then we've done another ratio study at the end of the year, and that 40 has now dropped down to 38. So the values are really just constantly going up, and we don't see when it's going to end. So all we can do is just keep doing what we're supposed to do by law and keep department audits and department revenue off of us. So, but it's that time of year, and we have to do what we got to do. Board of Assessors doesn't want to raise values, but we had no choice because it's just overwhelming. It's truly overwhelming. Not just here. It's all over the United States, all over the state of Georgia. It's everywhere. I've talked to people in Oregon, and they say the same thing. They're selling their properties for unbelievable amounts of money. They kind of have some of the same issues with people pouring out of California to go to Oregon or come out this way. So I do see a lot of that. But also out of Mississippi, we see a lot of folks out of Mississippi. I have no idea, but we've seen that for years. People coming out of Mississippi, Iowa, New Jersey, New York, you name it, they're coming here. But just to let everybody know that those notices will be going out, and there are some changes. And also, too, on that, we've already started working on next year's, trying to stay on top of them and keep those values where they need to be at. We don't like doing it, but we have to do it. So,
question,
sure, go ahead.
Terry. Well, just ballparking. I mean, I don't know if this is a viable question. If there's actually percentage-wise on increases, what are you? If you were talking just a general across the board, how are we looking?
Okay, let me start with this. Everybody's property is different.
Sure.
And They have a different value to them, different way of doing things, different grade. They all have a different makeup, different acreage, and so forth. So some will go up a little bit, some go up a little bit more, some may not go up hardly at all. Overall, once we've got done, and we had to change our base values to begin with. That's what helped us to get up to that 40%, that perfect spot.
Right.
And we had to change those. But overall, with doing that, in the entire county, it's right at 24%. So it doesn't mean, though, that every person's property went up 24%. Also,
The overall average is about 25% increase.
yeah, 24.9 is what it come out to. But like I say, everybody's property is different. Some went up a little bit, some quite a bit, and depending on what they've done, you know, some we went out and found things they may have added to it that we didn't know about, or things like that. The new properties, new construction doesn't really have an influence on that because they've not seen, they've not had that benefit of being in that previous value range, so they wouldn't be affected like that. We do have, you know, quite a few of those, so which is a good thing. But overall, that's just what it is everywhere. Everybody's going up like that. And it went up last year trying to chase it down a little bit. I think it went 16% last year, and that was nothing compared to what the sales were doing. The sales are ungodly. Got a lot of people, and we've heard it, they're bidding on these properties and getting way above what the asking price is. You've got bidders. You've got bidders paying hundreds of thousands of dollars to other bidders to get them to stop bidding on properties. So this is not like anything that we've ever seen before. It's just it's hard to keep up with that. You know, the banks. It's a little different this time because the banks are they're not loaning that kind of money. So if someone, you know, gets that property, the bank's only going so far. They're legally bound now after all that disaster back in 2008, but people are putting money on top of it, and they've got money, and quite a bit of money on top of what the asking prices are. We see it all the time. And
there's been an increase since January 1st of 2001 up to current. There's been a 26% increase in our market in the median value. Just the median value, that's everything, just in the whole county.
Since when, Keith? 2000?
Since January of 2001.
right. It's
There's no, here's the problem, there's no inventory out there hardly. And so the simple supply and demand.
Right.
The demand is still so great and the supply is not there, so it's driven the prices up. Right. And people have actually, I've seen it several times where property's listed for $200,000 and it sells for $250,000. And simply because they get into those bidding wars.
Yeah. Y'all see a lot of that. I've heard it, but y'all actually see it.
And unfortunately, if you get enough of that, that creates a market. And we have to do that because, you know, that's what state law charges us to do.
Right.
So it's like Terry said, it's nothing that we want to do. It's just that, you know, the law requires us to do.
Keep us in compliance.
Yeah, we have to be in compliance.
yeah, and you know, the Department of Revenue reviews what we do. They keep up with us through department audits and to make sure that we've got our numbers up there. If we don't have our numbers up there, of course, the county gets fined. If, you know, it's $5 a parcel, that seems like nothing, right? Well, now they've added teeth to all of this. They can actually strip the county of all their grants. You're talking millions of dollars gone like that. If the county doesn't cooperate and it gets so bad, they can take away the charter. The county would no longer exist. They've went that far. And then the state will tell you what you're gonna do. And that's the last thing we want here. We never want the state telling us how to value property, what we should be doing here. So, so we're doing what we're supposed to be doing, but unfortunately, it's hard to chase it down because there's, you know, this same house I was telling you about sold 3 times. You know, it's $100,000 increase every year. When you have hundreds of them like that, it winds up affecting everybody else. So it'd be one thing if we just had 1 or 2, we would just kick them
To give
out.
y'all an idea, from January of this year to today, there's already been a 14% increase in the market. 5 months, 14%.
Terry, you mentioned 4,000 deed transactions. Was that in 2021?
For the 2021 sales for the 2022 tax year.
Okay.
And we, like I said, already blocked that for the 2023 tax year, this coming tax year. So we did 81 deed books last year. You're looking at right around 50 on average per book. Then this year, we're already up to 25. So it's just not easing up. And then when we get the PT61, which tells us, you know, the transfer, how much they paid for it, and all of that, and sometimes, man, it's just shocking. You just sit there and shake your head like, what are we gonna do? You know, this has got to stop at some time. But there's just too many things going on with, number one, the inventory. The inventory is not there. The demand is so high because of situations like the interest rates. Interest rates are so low. People we've been working with, that they work out of some other counties too, he said he's heard of them getting a 1.8% interest rate. So, which is unheard of. So I know the feds have raised it a little bit. That's nothing. That is absolutely nothing. That will not slow down anything. Then you got, you know, of course, all the years, all this stuff's starting to accumulate, this lack of inventory. Then you play in zoning restrictions. So zoning restrictions are starting to catch up because now you've got, you know, all these people coming in, but you're only limited in what you can do in certain areas. So that sort of thing is catching up too, and it's causing a problem with the inventory. So there's a lot of things going on out there if you just think about it. You know, people flooding the country, and now they're moving out here, and it's creating issues here.
And if you didn't have zoning in place, then you'd be elbow to elbow, knee deep.
Yeah, and it's just it's just,
You know, it's one of those.
you know, you're only
Necessary
do
evil.
so much. So.
Yeah.
The only thing that would fix that sort of thing, that'd have to be just a whole new way of thinking about zoning restrictions when it comes to that. You couldn't like change things in Walker County and the rest of the state not change along with it. It'd be disastrous. So you'd need everybody in the United States to change the zoning way of doing things. You know, back in the day, it was just to restrict certain areas. You know, but now with growth over the years and people coming in, you know, the numbers going up as far as you know, the amount of homes. Now you're getting into where, oh, we can't build here. You have to do this. So you've got that along with the interest rates. So it's putting a burden on the inventory here.
Well, thank you for coming tonight and giving us an update. Appreciate it. Very informative.
Thank you.